Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday, October 30th, 2019, and you are watching yet another episode of Frank Gore Invented the Internet Fantasy Football Recap. Week 8 concluded on Monday night with the Dolphins losing again and remaining winless. So, don't worry, Brian. Someone's having a worse football season than you. But with Week 8 passing, that means there are only 5 games left in the regular season for our league. After the low scores last week, this week was full of lots of big fantasy points. First and foremost, we figured out what Amy's team name, Turned Down for Watson, actually means. Turned down for a loss, son. Boom. Roasted. Everyone's favorite seahorses kicked your team in the face, just like what happened when to Deshaun, 168 to 109. Although Deshaun was the one bright spot on her team, along with DJ Chark. Another crushing victory, both on the scoreboard and within the soul, Brett. LOL Clinton Dix sequanned TJ's nuts this week, 147 to 100. I know Brett is probably out in the middle of the ocean just contemplating throwing his championship belt into the water so it becomes part of a glacier where only he knows the location of. Either that, or he's already steered his tugboat directly into a large iceberg, capsizing it along with his crew. Because those are the only two logical options after losing to TJ in anything related to sports. With Lamar Jackson and Zeke both on byes this week, Sean kept Brian at one win still, defeating him 119 to 105. One of Brian's better weeks, but big points left on the bench. Just start Drew Brees over Kyler and he would have won. Or David Montgomery over any of his running backs. It's got to hurt, Brian. I know you did a lot of research this week. I looked at your team. Picking up and starting Ty Johnson, as well as having both Titans receivers on your team, then starting the wrong one. Damn, dude. So much time spent staring at your roster and still coming up empty-handed. On the back of a monster game from Aaron Jones, Hasta La Vista beat Julio Think You Are 152 to 107, and they are now tied for second place with 6-2 records. Walker did, however, win this week's side bet, so pay up. That includes you, Brett and Adam, for your stupid-ass bets. Texts are now legal documents in the court of law, and you did not void your bets. Therefore, they're still active, and you owe Walker $5. So, walk. They owe you. But good luck collecting from those scoundrels. And it looks like Matt went over to Shaken Baker's lake house and found a couple of paddles this week. One named Tevin Coleman, and the other Cooper Kupp. Both combining to score 82 points to help, without a paddle, earn his second win of the season, 148 to 109. And in the closest and most frustrating matchup of the week, Team Johnson squeaked by, get Rick back on roids 84 to 82. Now, Danny has to start a cycle of roids. But Rick played two guys who weren't playing this week in Matt Ryan and Adam Thielen, and was about to play Kenyon Drake on Monday night, but his hero, yours truly, told him to bench Drake and start Albert Wilson, who actually got a TD and ended up giving him enough points to win. There was no way I could allow an owner to not start 3 players in a week and give Danny a free win. After 8 weeks of NFL and fantasy football, Sean stands alone in first place with a record of 7-1. Hasta La Vista and Julio Think You Are both tied in second place at 6-2. I think Hasta La Vista owes the tiebreaker. I myself am sitting alone in fourth at 5-3. Saquondy's Nuts, Team Johnson, and Shaken Bakers are all tied at 4-4, battling out for the last 2 spots in the playoffs. Just below them, Turn Down for Watson and get Rick back on roids have records of 3-5 and are still alive in the playoffs. And without a paddle, and LOL Clinton Dix are again tied, just like they did when they played each other at 2-5-1. And at the very bottom, again, it's everyone's favorite superhero, Chalupa Batman, with a record of 1-7. So let's look on to next week's matchups. The big matchup of Week 9 includes the Seahorses visiting the Vista. And it looks like Adam is both trying to fuck up my video and play some mind games by not starting anyone right now. Nobody in. Projected total 0. Hopefully, he goes to some Halloween parties, goes on a big old bender and gets really drunk and forgets to start anybody on his team, and it works out for me. LOL Clinton Dix, projected to lose, still needs to put 2 guys in his starting lineup against Let's Get Physical, who gets his big players back this week. Julio Think You Are is projected to lose his second game in a row, this time to Saquondy's Nuts. Shaken Bakers tries to salvage his season, keep his playoff hopes alive, but is currently projected to lose to the last place team in the league. Get Rick back on roids against Without a Paddle. Might be the game with the most animosity this week, but Danny is projected to lose to Matt 103-101. And the final matchup has Team Johnson versus Turner Down for Watson. Both teams trying to keep themselves out of the losers bracket. Rick projected to lose, but he's still got a lot of people he needs to make some roster moves. This week, the side bet is going to be most overall team receptions. Now, this is going to be one that's going to be hard for me to keep track of. It'll take a little while, so bear with me. But from your running backs to your flexes to your tight ends and your wide receivers, all those positions, I'll add up all the team receptions. Again, $5 entry as always. Just text me if you're in. But there's 5 weeks left, and pretty much everyone is in the playoff hunt still, except for Brian for sure. And I'll leave it up to the brains of the league, Adam, to figure out whether or not Matt and Brett are both mathematically eliminated. So, Adam, come to me before Sunday with your theory. Week 9 kicks off tomorrow night on Halloween with my undefeated 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. So good luck, fellas. And to Amy, and to Matt. Commish out.